Foundational principle to our approach at CCIM is that the patient is in charge. In fact, by upholding that constantly, it's really the only way that we're effective. And the reason is because people see doctors when they can't fix a medical problem on their own or with their own resources. So we remember that. We remember that when a person is coming to our office, taking time out of their own schedule, making that appointment, coming in, we know that they need to address a particular thing, particular medical problem, that they can't do it on their own, which means that we are of service to them. The doctor is of service to the patient. What can we do? What can we offer? What information, what tools can we offer a patient so they can help themselves? Because ultimately, every human being is in charge of himself. The old model of more of a paternalistic approach where the doctor says something, the patient has to do it, otherwise it's vilified. I think that's a little out of date now. We're definitely at that place where to be effective, especially because we have this chronic disease epidemic, we have to help people feel empowered to have the toolkit to be able to help themselves. We can contribute a lot to a patient's experience. We can contribute the information about a person's body that they wouldn't be able to get without us. But at the end of the day, each patient it's an accountability thing too. And the ability for each person to know what they need to do for themselves, that's powerful. And that leads to lasting solutions. Rather than just taking a treatment that a doctor wants you to take, just taking it without any real transformation, without any real healing revolution occurring, that approach isn't going to work. In fact, that reliance on that approach may have contributed to the chronic disease epidemic we have now. But if we look at the underlying causes of symptoms, give information to each person, and help them become a reservoir of information and knowledge that they can help themselves, not only are they going to help themselves, they're going to pass it on to their loved ones, to their children, to their parents. And guess what? The healing passes itself forward, pays itself forward. And that's a beautiful thing. And that is essential to how we can be successful.
One last question, which is, can you tell me why the patient's in charge in under 20 seconds right now?
The patient has to be in charge. Otherwise, there's no real change that's going to happen. If there's no real change, then we're not effective, and the symptoms stay put. The patient's in charge. They're accountable. They are empowered. They have a toolkit to be of service to themselves. We see the results that last for a long time and pay themselves forward.
And how does that affect the way that you interact with them knowing that they're in charge?
I come to the table grateful for the opportunity to be of service. It's a privilege to be in the space I am, to meet new people every day. And remembering this principle that they're in charge, it actually makes things easier for me. It helps me know my role, the limits of my role, and which also let me know what I can literally do for somebody.